Hey VC, little update for the spin clean. I had made a video for the spin clean, but the more and more I use this, the more I learn about it. And I just got in a shipment from Japan, about 100 records, and those graders they got fingerprints all over them, and they're dusty and they're dirty, and so I started having to clean all the records, and so we're getting a lot of use with this thing. And I had one record in particular. I used to think if you would just go rotate that record slowly, because I was always blaming these brushes for putting static on the record, because you're putting it in water. How can you have any get static on it? I didn't understand, but you'd spin that record, you clean it, you put it on the turntable and play it, and it was all full of static, all noisy. I was like horrified, which sounds worse now than it did before. And if you go on YouTube and you look at some of those videos, and you'll see the guy plays it, you hear crackle, 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 then he cleans the record, puts it on again. Sounds just about the same. So what I realized was that here's the culprit right here. It's this soap that you're putting in the water. Because I had one particular record that I cleaned, and it was noisy. I just couldn't get that thing to be quiet. And after I played it a bit more, I noticed I was getting quite a bit of lint on the needle, which I don't ever usually get lint on my needle, because if your arm is tracing properly, and that cantilever, on your stylus is all tracking properly, you don't get a lot of lint building up on the needle. I don't get that. Unless, of course, you get a really dirty record, and then it'll start. So I get, this record is still really, really dirty. So I took the record back, put it back in the spin clean, put the soap back in there, and I really put it through the paces. I probably, put 10 times one direction, 10 times the other direction. And I put it back on there, and it's still really noisy. So what I did then was I've been watching some videos that Lloyd Walker had put on YouTube, and Lloyd Walker is really a genius. He makes his turntable, of course it's really expensive, but he makes really great audiophile products, and he makes a lot of record cleaning products as well. And he says that if you shampoo your hair and then you don't rinse it, your hair is still full of shampoo. It's still dirty. So once you wash the record, you've got to rinse it. And I just use I got this from Kroger. You can get it from Walmart, whatever. Just distilled water. You pay $1 or a jug or something for that stuff. So it's pretty cheap. So now what I do is unless it's a really bad dirty record, but even ones that I got maybe a few little fingerprints, lots of dust and stuff on it, I just use water, and I wash them with the water, 4 or 5 times. And a lot of times I just go the same direction, maybe 8 times in the same direction. And I pull it out and put them on. They're not perfectly quiet, but they're almost perfectly quiet. One play and they're good. And some of them you put them on and you don't hear anything. They're nice. But when you put that soap in there, of course now then I'll have a few that they're not quite right. So I'll put them to the side, and then I'll run them through. I'll put the soap in it. I'll wash them, and then I'll rinse them. I'll dump that out, and then I'll rinse them. And then I had one the other day. It was a John Lennon record, and it was near mint condition, but it had something was stuck on there, and it was like a kind of a gray color, a little round dot. And so I had to use something else on that. And I had bought one of those steam cleaners from Maple Shade for steam cleaning records, and I could never get the hang of how to use that thing. It always left tons of residue and purple lint on the records all the time. I could never get that thing to work properly. But what they did, in that Maple Shade had this stuff here. It's called Scuzzbuster. It's a pre-cleaner, and it kind of smells like that citrus cleaner stuff. And I put that on that little dot where that dirt was, and they included this little brush, and I just get that and I scrubbed it back in two really good. And then of course I don't want to put that stuff in my water, so I take it to the tap, you know, and I put it under the tap and get the record rinsed off really good. And then I just rinsed it off with this water, and it came out perfect. Couldn't even see anything on it. So some of those records are going to need a little more, if you, especially if you're doing, you know, garage sales and thrift stores and that, you're going to need more than just, a lot of times, just a water clean. And back in the day, I used to just, you know, get a towel out, get a face cloth, get it all wet, of course, put a couple drops of dish soap on there, and just wash those records, you know, and go under the tap and rinse them off. And wow, that, you know, that's a pretty good way to do stuff. But you know, the wife acceptance factor for that whole process, you know, messing around down there in their kitchen, they don't like it. So you know, I got this upstairs in their listening room now, and I can do all my record care up here, and I don't have any problems with other people in the house getting mad at me. And one of the things that Maple Shade included, now you see this thing that comes with the spin clean, this here deal, this little rag thing. Who are they kidding? This is a joke right here. But the Maple Shade, what they included, look at these microfiber cloths. Wow, now that's nice. So I would suggest go out and buy yourself one of these microfiber cloths, or maybe two. And they got a little microfiber sponge too, which is nice. You know, you can just go right on the record and clean it off, or dry it. You know. And look how nice these are. So usually when I'm doing the spin clean, I've got the spin clean set up here. I've got a big towel, you know, absorbent towel that I use. And after I wash it, then I take the towel, I fold it over, and I get almost all the water off of it. And then for the final drying, I just use the microfiber on there. And one other thing, I haven't been using this stuff that much lately, but I made this, you know, a while back. It's got mostly distilled water, a little bit of alcohol in here, and you know, a couple drops of dish soap. Where if you had a spot where you wanted to spot clean something, you could clean it. And as far as brushes go, there's a bunch of different brushes on online sellers, you know, Acoustic Sounds or Music Direct, those type of places. They're going to sell, they have brushes that you can buy for cleaning records. So you probably can get some different kinds of solutions, and for those really, really hard, those records that have a stain or something on it, something that doesn't clean up with this here stuff. And so I just wanted to let you know what I'm doing now. For 99% of the records that I get, I just clean them with water only. And boy, works fantastic. So thanks for watching.